Joining us here on the Rich Eisen Show is one of my favorites from the Las Vegas Raiders. He made the second-team All-Pro. He's a Pro Bowler. He is a self-made man out of Eastern Michigan. Ypsilanti, Michigan is where he got his college ball and fourth-round pick out of the Raiders. Now a grown-ass man making life very difficult for quarterbacks in the league. He's Maxx Crosby. How you doing, Max?
Doing great, Rich. I appreciate the amazing introduction.
It's the truth.
As always.
This is a fact. These are facts. Okay, how has that loss sat with you over the last couple days, Max?
It's been weird. That's probably the best word I can use. I've still been in the facility every day since the season ended. It's been heartbreaking because what we went through and how much we put into it, and it just to end on a last play like that, it's been tough. I just want to keep playing football. That's really all it is for me, and I know the guys wish the same.
What was the toughest aspect of the season for the Raiders, with a lot of tough aspects that many teams don't know how to face because they don't usually have to face them, Max?
Yeah, there's so many things that I can point to, but there was just a lot of ups and downs and nothing guaranteed. There was, we got a new coach. We had, new players, injuries constantly. But the one thing that stayed constant was just everyone's attention to detail and the will to win. Everybody wanted to just continue to play, even when we were 6-7 and just got beat by like 100 points by the Chiefs. We could have just said, all right, well, we'll see what happens. We'll get ready for next year. But we went on the road, beat Cleveland, came home, beat Denver, went on the road, beat Indy, and then finished it at home and beat the Chargers, all against really good teams. So it's just a collective group of guys that, like, I can't even describe how proud I am of this team and coaching staff. It's been one hell of a ride.
So then I'll ask you for a couple of reactions here, Maxx Crosby. The general manager who drafted you gave you the opportunity, along with Gruden, who's no longer there, as we know. But Mike Mayock's fired. How does that sit with you, Max?
Yeah, it's tough, man. Mike, the things he's done for me, like you said, he drafted me. He's done so much for me, always looked out for me, constantly just being there. His family, they've always been so good to me and my girl and my family, and I can't say how much I appreciate him. He's it's crazy. I was just in his office 2 days ago, had an amazing talk, and then the next day I got the news. So, we had a good talk yesterday, and he's going to be good. He's a great dude, and I can go on all day, but he's a special guy, and I just appreciate everything he did for me and this organization. He's been awesome.
What did Rich Bisaccia do this year that kept everything afloat, Max?
Rich is one of a kind. He's everybody's been asking what's going to happen, and everybody knows my vote. And I made that very clear. I love Rich. I think he's the best man for the job, and he's come in and done such an amazing job. We've won 10 games with a team that's had tragedy, loss, everything you can imagine. And he's found a way to get a group of guys to come together and win football games in January and December, which is rare. So, Rich he's the real deal. He's a leader of men, and that's all you can ask for.
Is it true he wrote handwritten notes after the loss to Cincinnati to members of the team? Did he do that? Is that a true story, Max?
He does that. He does that before every game.
What do you mean?
As long as he's been here, he will put a note in your locker before a game, and you'll just he'll say whatever, but obviously that's private. But
sure.
Yeah, I had one that was before Cincy. That was it's before. He's been doing it for years. So, obviously he's the guy that doesn't want to bring attention to himself. And somebody, I think it was his daughter or something, took a picture of him and
right.
put it on her Facebook, and it kind of leaked. and he was upset about it. He's like, man, I don't want to make it seem like I'm vouching for myself. He's one of those guys. He's so humble, and it's just incredible. So I just, I like to take the time to show him his appreciation because he'll never do it for himself.
I think there's like 19 eyes in Bisaccia. So, I mean, okay. So, and again, I know you say it's private, but can you give me a general gist of what it's like when you go to your locker and you get a handwritten note from your head coach? What it portrays, what that means, Max?
Yeah, it's just special when you have the guy who's the head coach, the leader of an NFL team, and you get a letter from him. I literally just talked to him. So I go up and walk in his office like it's, he's my friend. I could really have those conversations. You don't find that often, and it's just special, when you have something like that in the building already, in my opinion, you should keep that, but what do I know? I just, I show up and do my job to the best of my ability, and it's just special having Rich here. He's a special guy.
Well, I mean, like when we spoke, I think a couple of times ago on a Zoom prior to the Monday night game in Los Angeles, that was week 3, I think, and who knew at the time that was going to be Gruden's last game as head coach with and for your team. You were saying that chemistry was better than ever, that guys were pulling together and pulling for each other more than ever before. So and the way things actually played out with Henry Ruggs and Arnett, the fact that you guys all did hold it together and won games, made the playoffs, and actually had a possession to try and win it, or tie it. You would know if Bisaccia's the right guy, to be honest with you, Max. Yeah, having, Rich, just Rich in the building, like even when he wasn't the head coach, he was always a guy you can go to. He was always there for me. He was my guy that on the coaching staff that I trusted, to go and have those conversations with. So, Coach Gruden, I'm not taking anything away from Coach Gruden. He knows I love him and everything like that. But at the end of the day, the players are the ones playing. And Rich cares about the players, number one, always. That's what he always says. He's like, the guys in the locker room are the most important. They're the one out there making plays. And Coach Bradley says the same thing. He's always preaching that. So, yeah, at that time, if we have guys that are playing for each other, no matter what happens and all the adversity, you can't win 10 games, with guys that don't care about each other. At the end of the season, we go to Cleveland. It's freezing cold. We're 6-7. The only way we can do that is if we have guys playing for each other, and that's what Rich preaches and all these guys preach. And in this locker room, no matter what happened, we just kept rolling with the punches, and I think people got to see that this year. Pro Bowler Maxx Crosby of the Las Vegas Raiders here on the Rich Eisen Show. I got questions to ask you about 2 moments that the whole country's been talking about over a span of a few weeks. And let's take them in order. First one, the game against the Chargers. You're on the sideline. You're watching time tick down. A tie sends you to the playoffs. A tie sends the other team to the playoffs. Timeout gets fired off by the Chargers. The general sense is that timeout by Brandon Staley led to, no kneel down. Were you guys going to kneel down if that timeout didn't get fired off? Best to your knowledge, Maxx Crosby?
I've heard so many different stories and opinions on this.
Yes. What's yours?
But at the end of the day, I think we were going to attempt the field goal regardless. That's just my opinion. I've heard a million different opinions on it. But in a game like that, with how much work we had to put in to be in that position, to let them make the playoffs as well and just accept the tie, I just find that hard to believe. So I know Coach Rich, and he's a winner. I know these guys in the locker room we have winners. So especially you're playing a division rival. Just in my opinion, I don't think we would have just let them off the hook and be like, all right, we'll just tie it and not risk it. We were there to win the game and send them home. So, that's what we did, and I'm glad that we did that.
Yeah, because if I was me, I would be right up next to Bisaccia, certainly if I'm not on the field, right? And the offense is on the field. Where were you? Were you listening in on the conversations? Where were you?
No, I'm on the bench, exhausted. I played, I think, not close to 90 snaps. So I was just looking at the game like, oh, we're going to go down. Josh is going to run the ball, and we're going to go and kick the field goal and win the game, and that's what we did. So at the time, I had no recollection of that. So, yeah, I was just thinking we're going to win the game.
All right, and then the play that everybody's talking about more recently because you won, going to Cincinnati. Joe Burrow throws one to Taj Boyd. There's a whistle. Did you guys did part of the team stop playing or stop the running as hard as possible because you thought the play was over? You heard the echo of the whistle in that moment, Max?
Yeah, that's another. There's always controversy with us, to say the least. But yeah, during that play, I was in pursuit of the quarterback, and I'm just running after Joe Burrow, and in my view, it looked like he stepped out of bounds. So when that happened, I don't know if he did or not. Like I saw the replay, I don't think he did, but it was very close. And so when he almost stepped out of bounds, he launched the ball, and the second it left his hand, the ref right there blew the whistle because he saw what I saw. It was close, and it looked like he stepped out.
Right.
So we heard the whistle, and then all of a sudden I looked back, and he caught the receiver caught it, but it looked like the DB stopped. So that was just my opinion. Then I saw the replay, and I'm like, oh, yeah, the whistle blew, and our guys stopped, and it looked like the Bengals guys thought it was over as well. But then all of a sudden they just said signal touchdown, and I was yelling at the ref saying, no way, he blew the whistle.
Right.
Regardless if he stepped out or not, I thought they should have stopped it. But what do I know?
It definitely seemed
trying to get to the quarterback.
Right. It definitely seemed, again, it's Tyler Boyd, my bad, that he did seem like the ball had already maybe, crossed the plane of the goal on the way to Boyd's hands when the whistle blew. But you were right there. So as soon as you saw the foot go down near the end, the boundary, you heard the whistle. Maxx Crosby. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's. I just assumed he was out and they blew it dead, and even if he didn't, you blow the whistle. I thought it would be another play or just redo the play or whatever, but it didn't. That didn't happen. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's over with. It's just, wish we could play a better game and get them back because I really do believe we were the better team. We didn't play our best football on Saturday.
Maxx Crosby here on the Rich Eisen Show. Last one for you. Let's talk about you and what you have become. And, you were very emotional about making the Pro Bowl and what it meant to you personally. What do you want people to know about what you have been through and how you can be used as a model to fight through all that, Maxx Crosby?
Yeah, for me, I've been through a lot from my childhood. Been through a ton. Growing up, I didn't have the best life. I was a wild kid to say the least. Went through a lot of ups and downs, battled demons. But one thing that stayed true was I never lost sight of what I wanted to become. I always wanted to be in the NFL. I wrote it and told my teachers, every single teacher from middle school, from elementary school to high school, I kept the same goal. And even though I had some ups and downs, addiction, all type of stuff, I never lost sight of that. And once I got my life together, I started seeing the brighter side. And just in my third year, I'm 24 years old, and I'm a Pro Bowler. I'm an All-Pro, and that just gives me more motivation. So just for people out there, you can do whatever you want to do. People before this season were writing articles asking, is Max getting benched? We signed this guy. Is Max benched now? Is he going to lose his job? I kept everything. So I just know personally, everybody's going to say whatever they want to say about you, but if you come in and put the work, you can become anything you want. And for me, it's special because I know I'm just getting started, and I just want to go to a whole nother level next season.
And so, how did you pull your life together, Max? What happened? Did something happen that made you realize that you need to clean up or sober up in a way, at all?
Yeah, I think it was just at the end of the day, it became repetitive with my decision making, and what I was doing. It just wasn't working. It kept getting progressively worse. Drinking more, partying more, not as dedicated, to my craft and all that. And football is my number one. So if I were to lose that, I don't, that's kind of what it was for me. It's like, all right, I'm either going to go and have fun and do all these crazy things and be done and be forgotten, or I can make a decision right now and change my life, go get clean, and do what I'm meant to do. And I feel like I was put on this earth to play football and be an example for people that went through what I went through. And that's what I'm doing right now. And I just want to continue to grow and take that to higher and higher levels every single day. So that's the thing I can tell people is if you got a plan to do something, you have goals. Like I used to think such, big picture. Like I always I want to do this, but I didn't take care of the day-to-day. And for me, I try to stay in today, make the most out of my 24 hours every single day and just be positive and be a positive light for somebody else. And I've been doing it one day at a time, and it's showing. And I just, I feel like I'm just getting started, and it's going to be, bigger and bigger every day.
Maxx Crosby, what a season, what a great season, what a great career you're building, and it's been a pleasure to get to chat with you throughout it. You have a spot here whenever you want. You know that, but congrats on it. I'm really thrilled for you, and I hope you get what you want in terms of your coach and everything else. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rich. I appreciate it, brother.
Right back at you. At Crosby Max with 2 X's on Twitter. I follow him. You should as well. That's the great Maxx Crosby. What a story. What a message. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.